Hi everyone, welcome to Just Ask. In today's video, we're going to be talking about things that shouldn't matter about someone that you're with or who you're dating, and whether or not these things really do matter in the long run. And I have here from Cosmopolitan a list of things that they believe shouldn't matter, and I'm here to tell you nothing but the truth of why some of these are right and why some of these are wrong. And we're going to be looking at it from a biological standpoint as well. A lot of people may say things in the name of making someone feel good, but on this channel, I'm going to be telling you like how it is so you can win at the game of life, because yes, life is a game. So the list here is what the things that shouldn't matter to the person who you're dating. And this is for girls. Most like this video is more so for girls. So the guy's height, his body type, whether or not he drinks, if he still lives at home, his age, your gut reaction to his appearance, what your friends think, what he does for a living, how many people he slept with, how many serious relationships he's had, how much his interests align with yours, his sense of style, if he's well traveled, if his previous partner was really hot or not, how much money he makes. These are all the things they listed that shouldn't matter. The reasons that they gave are not as bad. You know, I can understand where they're coming from, but let's look at the reality of things. If you're a heterosexual female and you like guys, and you don't care if someone is tall or not, there's nothing wrong with that. However, and I'm going to be kind of comparing this to nature and how our bodies actually work. Height is seen as a sign of strength and intimidation and dominance. And that's something that's mostly the reason why most people, men and women, gravitate towards men who are very tall. It is a sign that they can protect. Now, if you have someone that is just as tall as you or just a little bit shorter than you, but they can handle themselves, that's fine, but they're always going to be proving themselves. Just understand that guy is always going to be in a position where he has to overcompensate or really prove himself. Because being with you, first of all, other guys are going to think that, well, let's be honest, that he ain't shit. Because here's this little tiny guy with you. It's going to give guys more of a reason to hit on you more, because they just see him as easy competition. Now, if he can fight really well or he can protect you really well, he can hold his own, there's really nothing wrong with that, except that you both have to understand that people are going to come after you more, especially if you're a particularly attractive female. That may not be an issue. The other issue is if he is significantly shorter than you are, you don't have a problem with it, it's fine. But just understand that little hug that they would give you to show that they protect you and they care about you, it's going to look really awkward. It's going to feel really awkward. I too have dated shorter guys, and I'm like, oh, it's just not my thing. It just feel like they're my little brother. And it's no slight against the guys, because they can't help their height. But what they usually do is get females that are shorter than they are, so they always look like the stronger one. His body type, okay, to some extent this is true, but I think we have to be very clear here. Now, I'm the kind of person who will like anybody. I'll date a chubby guy, a fat guy. My current partner is overweight. And I'm a little bit overweight, not too much. Is he significantly overweight? He's not morbidly obese, but he's chubby. But if you don't care at all what your partner's body looks like let's just say they're morbidly obese, like 500 pounds, and you're fine with the way his body looks, there's nothing wrong with loving the person, but understand that if this person has let himself go and he's not making healthy choices, he's not going to be around very long. Not only that, if you guys get married, please expect that you might have hospital bills. You might have to deal with a partner that has diabetes or the onset of diabetes. You might also have to deal with the influence that it will have on you being healthy. Let's say you're a healthy person and you like bear men that are big and fat. That's cool. But if you're going to take this seriously and long term, just understand that it will wear on you after a while. If you don't have the same goals that he has, or vice versa, your goals don't align, especially when it comes to health, that relationship's not going to work out. And please, if you're going to date a guy and as soon as you date him, you realize that he's fat, morbidly obese, and he's already in this habit of not making healthy choices, do not date a guy and then expect him to change for you. Like, what you see is what you get. People will change when they fall in love with someone, but it has to be of their own volition. You can't date him and be like, oh, I'm going to sculpt him into shape. Like, That's really messed up. It's either you accept him as he is and understand that he might stay just like that, or you don't make that choice. Number 3, whether or not he drinks. There's nothing wrong with drinking, especially if you're doing it socially, or even if he has a beer every evening, as long as he's doing it in moderation. When it starts to become a trouble and a problem, and you see that it's a little bit excessive, then you have to reevaluate whether or not you're serious about this relationship, because it could lead to something else more serious down the line. If he still lives at home, now this depends on how old you are. Like, if we're rocking like at 20s, come on, it's not really that big of a deal. Why is he living at home? I think the reasons really do matter. If he's going to college and you see that he's working his ass off to try and get a job, or he's working while he's living at home, that's different. But if he's just sitting in his mom's basement, unless he's a streamer or a YouTuber and he makes money like that, if he's not doing anything, then that's something that you have to reevaluate. That does matter, because you have to also understand that this person, if they're not saving money, if they don't have a goal in sight, and they're just chilling, that is an issue. His age. I don't think age really matters, to be honest. However, for women, it could matter. And from what I noticed, I dig older guys, and someone once said, and I call her a master seductress, but someone once said that if a guy is 10 years older than you, he essentially is the same age, because guys are behind us when it comes to mental development. If you want a guy who's like 10 years older than you, you're going to have to date with someone who's 20 years older than you. Age does matter. And age matters for guys, because if you're 20 and he's 20, he's not mature. Let me tell you something. Guys who are from the ages of like 12 up to like 35, they don't start really trying to take their life seriously or settle down until they're like 35. That's the honest truth. Guys who are in their 20s, it's very rare that you find a guy who's serious about committing, or a guy who's serious about his life. Throughout their 20s, it's like they're just extended teenagers. And it's very hard to stick with a guy who's not going to want to go out there and sleep with everybody else. I'm not saying every single guy's like that, but biologically, guys are at their prime there. It's just the truth. They're going to want teenage girls. I mean, guys always want teenage girls. They always want that prime example of a female at her prime, or in her prime. But I'm sorry, my nose is stuffy, guys. I have winter allergies. But just understand that age does matter. And if you want someone who's serious and who wants to stay with you long term, don't choose a 20-year-old. If you're 20, don't choose a 20-year-old. Do not. Go for an older guy. Trust me, number one, the older guy is going to see you as a very youngling, and he's going to be more attracted to you because of that. It's going to be easier for you to land older guys than for you to I mean, you can still land guys of your age, but they're not going to be serious. They're going to be like little boys. They're not ready for a committed relationship. If you guys are all having fun and that's what you're into, then that's fine. You can choose those guys. But if you're into seriousness and you want to really elevate yourself and you want to get serious with your relationship, choosing guys, unless it's after they're like 35 or something, or into their 40s, most times you're asking for heartbreak. It's just the truth, especially extroverted guys. Number 6 is your gut reaction to his appearance. Okay, this does matter somewhat. If he has like let's say that he's in construction clothes. As soon as you see him, you don't know what his background is, okay? He should look attractive. You should be attracted to him. But let's say that he looks dirty, but he does construction. Understandably, you're not going to get grossed out and be like, ew, look at him, he's dirty. No, you look at the guy for who he is, you talk to him, whatever. In equal standing ground, you can see a guy who's in a business suit and he's a complete douchebag. And you're like, screw that. I don't want to be a part of that. But appearance does matter. Especially the way they carry themselves all the time, because whoever you're beside is going to be a reflection of you. It's going to be a reflection of who you are and what your standards are. And the messed up part of it is, I know that this isn't applying to every single thing, but if you're with someone who is dirty and has no hygiene or whatever, and he may be a great person, but he doesn't respect himself and doesn't respect you enough to try to make himself look better for you or around you. And if that's the way he carries himself all the time, people are going to think either one of two things. You're a whore, like an actual prostitute that he picked up, because in their minds, I'm not trying to be mean, but that's how people think. In their minds, they're going to think that, wow, that guy can't get anyone, so he must have hired someone. Or they're going to think that, you know, you're into drugs. Like they're going to think something negative of you. Or the other thing is that you're using the guy for whatever little money you can, which is, you know, a gold digger. And I'm not trying to judge people who are, you know, whatever. But I don't think it should be something that's obvious. If you're going to do that stuff, keep it to yourself. Like you should, I don't agree with girls going out there and be like, I'm a gold digger. Like, okay, if that's your thing and that's what you want to do, that's how you live, and you want to be a sugar baby, why are you advertising it? So that the next guy who comes along knows. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So yes, appearance does matter, just like your appearance does matter. You can't expect to land a good guy or a good looking guy and you let yourself go and you let yourself get fat and overweight, and it's like, oh, you don't like me because I'm fat. Of course, humans like the epitome of health and beauty. It's just what it is. It's how we procreate. It's how we choose a mate and how we spread out our genes and stuff. They're going to choose what looks both healthy. So it's the same thing that goes both ways, not just for guys. Okay, number 7 is what your friends think. This is true to an extent. There's a lot of people who will say, I don't think he's a good match for you. Now, it depends on the kind of friends that you have. If your friends know of this guy and they know he's a player, or if your friends can see something that you can't, it should matter what they think. If they just don't want you to date him because they're like, oh, you could do so much better, and what about this guy over here, and they just want you to date someone else because that's not their pick for you, then screw what they think. But I think that everything should be taken with a grain of salt. If you have close friends and you know you can trust them, then hear what they're saying, and as my mother would say, chew the meat and spit out the bones. Take what is important, take what is vital information, and throw out the rest that's just their opinions that are maybe self-motivated opinions. Next one is what he does for a living. All right, let's be real here. If he is a janitor and you are completely fine with just having a basic life, or I don't want to say just basic, but if you're not, okay, janitors make okay money. Let's say he works at McDonald's, and that's where he's been working for years, right? Understand that you're probably gonna have to take care of him. Like if you have a job, it's better than his. If you're dating the guy, don't take it too seriously, because if he stays working at McDonald's for 30 years, don't expect much from that relationship, because finances will come into it. And as much as women and men don't want to admit it, women don't want to admit it because they're too modest, and no one's willing to tell the truth. And men, they basically, they think about it, but some of them don't say it. But most men think that, wow, you know, they get mad at women for being like, oh, you're just, what's the word that they use again? When women only want men that are better than the last one, or something like hypergamy. You cannot get mad at men for being men, and men cannot get mad at women for being women. And it took me a while to really come to terms with this. I'm not somebody who cares about money. Maybe that's because I'm self-sufficient and very independent. But at the same time, I don't want to get with a guy who's working at McDonald's. I'm sorry. Like, because it's not that I want him to make money to take care of me. I don't want to be taking care of him. Like, I spent my whole life taking care of my younger brothers and younger kids. Why do I want another one that I'm sleeping with? That doesn't make any sense. And it's not to bash people who are working at McDonald's. If you want to work at McDonald's, do you. Find somebody else that works at McDonald's too. Or if you're just getting yourself together, you work at McDonald's, you work your part-time jobs, you know, whatever. It's easier for females because, let's face it, the way that nature works, guys are usually the protectors and the providers. Females are the bearers. If anybody who has that modern way of thinking that says, oh, well, you're just being sexist, well, these videos are not for you. Because these videos are basically to tell people what nobody else will tell them. It's the way that humans were designed. It's the way that most mammals are designed. And I'm just telling you what it is. If you don't like it, feel free to click off the video. So, what he does for a living is very important. And most divorces, the reason why divorce comes about, it's because of finances. People didn't talk about stuff like this from the beginning, or you saw someone who was cute and it's like, okay, I like him, he looks freaking hot, but he works at McDonald's, and it's not a problem for you at the time because your butterflies are flying and everything, until you realize 2 years down the line he's still working at McDonald's and going nowhere with his life. Do not get with a guy who's trying to get his life together. Wait till he gets his life together, and then unless you're having fun and you know that you're not going to get your feelings all tangled up in there, wait. Don't take someone like that too seriously. The next one is how many people he slept with. That shouldn't matter unless he's a player and he's been sleeping with so many people that they get STDs. Like, you have to check people. If he's someone that's been like with countless people, then you need to get that guy tested. I mean, if it's just for experience sake, then you just have to understand that if he's been with a lot of women, you have to give him something new. You have to always be willing to give him variety. Now, on the flip side, someone who has been sleeping around with many people, they finally decide to settle down, they realize that, oh, I've done this. I've been with so many girls. I'm all seated out. I'm ready to find this one to settle down with. But just be aware that you might also be one of his notches. So if he's someone who is a serial dater and he goes out, he's just with everybody, and he's at an age, like the age gap, that little age range I told you, then don't take it too seriously because you might just be another one of them. Okay, how many serious relationships he's had. This does matter. I don't know why they say these things don't matter. Actually, they do matter. Like, a lot of them matter. It shouldn't matter, but if it's a serious relationship, the only reason it should matter is because it should let you take a closer look at the guy. Be like, this guy, if he's had a lot of serious relationships, and that means that he's mature. If the serious relationships ended in a bad note, or the girl left him, or he was cheated on, or whatever the case is, or they had to leave, look at the reasons why as well, if you can, if they don't lie to you. But it makes me happy when I date someone who has been with only a few girls and they've been serious. So it's not that he's going to not want to sleep with other girls, but it lets you know the kind of person that you're getting into a relationship with, that he'll still look at other women. He'll still look at porn and stuff, but just understand that this is the kind of guy that when he's with a partner, he's serious about that partner. He's not going to be going out to try and date girls in your area and stuff like that. Okay, this is important. This is really important. Like, I don't even know why people are saying this doesn't matter. How much is interest aligned with yours? Okay. In the past, I thought this didn't matter. Till I grew older and I realized that a lot of why people break up is because their interests don't align. It sounds dumb, but if you're someone who wants to go to Hollywood to be an actor and somebody wants to go to Texas to like ranch horses, or your interests are so far removed from each other. Like, let's just say he wants to travel the world and you just want to, I don't know, work at a fair or something like that. I'm choosing really basic stuff, but and he's going to be gone for maybe 18 months at a time. Chances are your relationship is not going to last very long. I mean, you could do the long distance thing, but this guy's going to be traveling all over the world for 18 months at a time. He's going to be meeting all these new females. And you're just in one state, like, you're going to be away from each other more than you're going to be together. Why are you together then? That's not a relationship, and you're just asking for disaster. Humans are social creatures, and I understand that there are few situations where you have to make your long distance relationship work, but in something like this, where you know this person's long-term goal is to always be traveling or being away from you, then why are you with that person? That your interests do matter. I would not choose someone, and this is no slight against soldiers and policemen. I think they're amazing. I think they're beautiful people. But even policemen will say that, date us but don't marry us. They work long hours. They don't have time for serious relationships. So if your interest doesn't align with your interest, that's a really big deal. Okay, his sense of style. Now, this really shouldn't be an issue unless he decides to dress with like his ass hanging out. That is an issue, because whatever he dressed like is going to reflect on you. If you dress like a whore, people are going to treat him like he's dating a whore. They're not going to respect him. They're not going to respect you either. So, and like I said, if you guys want to dress like that's your business, but don't bash on people if they criticize you for dressing like the stigma. It is what it is. Everyone's free to do what they want, but just understand people will still criticize you. And that's how they're going to look at you. If you dress like a gangster and he's with you and he acts like that, people are going to treat you like that too. They're going to look at you as someone who chose that. So I think that that does matter. A sense of style, if he has an esoteric sense of style, people are going to treat him with respect. They're going to see him as earning more than he probably does, and it's going to make you look good as well. If he's well traveled, this doesn't really matter. They're right. It really doesn't matter. Who cares if you've been to Paris and Europe? Does that really matter? There are so many people who have traveled the world and they're broke. So well traveled doesn't matter unless that's something that's important to you. Okay, if his previous partner was really hot or not, they're right. This does not matter. Guys, heterosexual guys, even gay guys, they don't go after someone just for hotness. Yes, a lot of it is hotness, and a lot of it is like, okay, that person looks really young and cute or whatever. He's gonna find that person attractive. But if he's with you, that's not why he's with you. Not predominantly. Like, yeah, attractiveness is a big deal, but if he stays with you, it's because he loves you. It's because he actually cares about you. There are hot women all around people, Instagram, Facebook, Periscope. Like, it doesn't matter what platform it is, you're always going to find hotter girls. And you know what happens to those hotter girls? Men who are with them still end up cheating on them for people who are not as hot as they are. In the end, that doesn't matter. Men like variety. That's what's really important. So if you can bring something to the table that the hot girlfriend didn't, then you immediately have a foot up on the table. Now, he still may find her more attractive physically, but with you complementing your looks with other values or traits that she may not have in your character, that's going to make you more attractive to him. How much money he makes. Okay, so this is the last one, and it is sort of important, sort of not important. It depends on his goals. Let's just say he's not making any money right now, but he's in school and he's trying to get his project off the ground and he's working hard, but he barely makes anything. He's just funding his dream right now. If you see him going in a direction that has potential, then yes, that's fine. It doesn't matter how much money he makes at this moment. As long as he is ambitious, as long as he's doing something. If you have someone that doesn't make any money at all and you don't see them going anywhere with their lives, and if you're completely fine with that, that's okay. But if you're not fine with that, if you're going places or you want someone who's going to elevate you in life, then that's different. That you're going to have to care about how much money someone makes. Likewise, you're going to have to care about how much debt they have. If they're just accruing debt and that's all they're doing with their money or blowing it away, that's an issue that you're going to have to deal with later on in the relationship. And I think that it's important to tell people what to look for so that they don't run into these problems later on. Because a lot of the times people end up in heartbreak, I've done it too, is because you see signs early on in the relationship and you just decide, but I love them. I love them so much it doesn't matter until it does. Let's be real here. So, you're not being shallow by saying somebody, okay, girls aren't being shallow by having an issue with how much money a guy makes, just like guys aren't being shallow by wanting to date a healthy, beautiful looking female. Are we shallow to a point? Yes, but there is a biological reason for that. You date somebody, and let's say he does make a lot of money, but he blows it all. That's another caveat. Do you really want to be with someone who's going to be accruing debt and having people take away your stuff from your house because he can't pay his bills? And someone like that has that bad behavior is going to also steal and cheat and lie. Because what happens if they make money and they use their money unwisely, especially towards things that are just harmful, like gambling. If they have a problem with gambling or drinking or drugs, like I said, everything in moderation. But these people obviously don't take things in moderation. When they run out of their money, whose money do you think he's going to land on? Yours. That is going to land both of you down the frickin' drain. So learn to recognize that from early on and avoid it at all costs. It does matter how much someone makes to an extent, but what's more important is how he spends his money and what he spent it on. Anyways, that's it. I hope that helped. I wanted to make this channel to help people because I see people asking these questions all the time. And a lot of these questions many years ago, I've had too, and nobody can answer them. They just tell you like, yeah, just do this, just have confidence. And they don't really tell you how to do that. So that's what I'm trying to do on this channel. And I will say things that may hurt people's feelings and that things that people may not want to hear. But after years of studying and researching and talking to other people who are experts in psychology, and I've picked up so many things that I believe would help people. I'm not an expert in psychology. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I have this degree and I have that degree. No, the only degree I have is in filming and wildlife management. But I do have the experience of life and heartbreak. I've dated enough people. I've watched people. I've seen the results of certain things. And I can tell you, just think of me as like your older sister or something, or younger sister, whatever it is, that's trying to save you a lot of heartache and helping you win at the game of life, because life is a game. People don't like playing games such and such, but the truth is, you have to. Like, everything is a game. Everything is competition. Finding a job, you have to be better than the next person. Keeping your man interested, you have to be better than the next woman. You have to always be changing yourself and doing this so that you can appeal to his primitive instinct of wanting to sleep with many women. Guys, you have to always be better than the next guy. You have to always find a way to get women to sleep with you, because that's the end goal. Like, it is a game. It sucks, and I know that people have complained in comments and stuff about it. And why does everything got to be a game? That's the way life is. Look at nature. Everything is a game. Everything is about competition. That's how we got here. May the best genes win. So if you're not ready to accept that very harsh fact about life, then just sit home and be alone, because that's what's going to happen. Some people claim they don't play games because it's natural to them. They don't have to think about it. But there are other people who are losing at life and they're like, why? And this is basically what channels like this are here for. And I'm not the only one. You can go out there and watch some others. But anyways, I hope that helped. Yeah. A big thanks to Frank Kabbalah for supplying the list. And tell me, guys, what is your biggest peeve about someone that you meet? Girl or guy, doesn't matter. What's your first thing that's like an instant turn off? And I'll see you in the next video.